readings this weekend remind us that we have a God who seeks our healing and restoration. God really loves us and wants you and me to be whole. The scripture provides us with a lesson about faith, reminds us that faith is sometimes found in unlikely places. Take the first reading. We heard about Naaman. And then later in the gospel from Luke, we hear about 10 others who are healed of leprosy. We seldom encounter leprosy today, so we have difficulty understanding the level of physical and mental pain it causes. Leprosy is a chronic bacterial infection which affects the skin and nerves. And this means that over time, extremities and limbs can become numb. This numbness leads to difficulties in motor skills and wounds that severely damage those limbs and the whole person. Back in biblical times, leprosy was extremely contagious. This forced those with the infection to be ostracized from regular society, separated from their friends, their families, the marketplace, and even from worship in the temple. In short, leprosy often led to depression, anger, loss of limbs, and eventually death. Although physical leprosy is not as prevalent today, we can see signs of spiritual leprosy, even at times in ourselves. I would say spiritual leprosy is developing a sort of numbness to God and work in and through our lives. A numbness in our prayer, a numbness in our study of God, a numbness in our generous service to others, and a numbness in sharing our faith with others. However, we have a God who seeks our healing and restoration. God really does love us and wants you and me to be whole. This is why we are blessed and excited to participate in the pilot initiative with Dynamic Catholic called Dynamic Parish, which began last November. You might recall that when we began this relationship with Dynamic Catholic, we conducted a parish-wide survey. As a sort of physical, or if you will, doctor checkup, I wanted to share with you some highlights of the survey results. I share these results as a means to keep us individually and as a parish community aware of our spiritual health and to keep us from contracting spiritual leprosy. As I said, last November, we had a total of 1,963 people participate in the survey. About 28% of respondents have been members of the parish for less than 10 years, and 22% have been members for 10 to 19 years. 37% have been members for more than 20 years, and 12% of respondents are not yet members of the parish. This shows that many of you have been faithful members for a long time. Thank you for calling Our Lady of Sorrows your home. Regarding the various age groups that responded, 30% of respondents were age 65 and older, 20% were aged 55 to 64, 16% were aged 45 to 54, 10% were aged 35 to 44, and 8% were aged 25 to 34. 12% were under 18 years of age. This shows us that our effort to welcome and reach those under 40 years old is deeply important. The more important stats I would like to share with you concern the 4 signs of a dynamic Catholic. In over a decade of work with parishes and individuals, Dynamic Catholic has found there are 4 signs or marks of a dynamic Catholic. These 4 signs are habits of 1, prayer. Dynamic Catholics have a daily commitment to prayer. 2, study. Dynamic Catholics are continuous learners. 3, generosity. Dynamic Catholics are generous with their time and finances in support of their parish. 4th, evangelization. Dynamic Catholics invite others to grow spiritually by sharing the love of God. Let's first look at our parish prayer habits. One survey question read, in the past 30 days, how many days have you dedicated time specifically to pray? The most frequently reported response for days prayed in a month was 30 days, which equates to 38%. Nearly half, or 48% in total, prayed 21 days or more. And the average number of days prayed in the past month was 18. 6% respondents report that they had not prayed at all in the past 30 days. Another survey question read, on the days you prayed, what is the average number of minutes you prayed? 54% of people reported praying an average of 10 minutes or more per day. 6% prayed an hour or more per day. 45% prayed less than 10 minutes a day. This tells us that our parish prays fairly consistently, but I think we can all agree that we would benefit if our time praying increased even just 5 minutes a day. Prayer is that time to find our center and deepest identity as children loved by our God. Let's take a moment to look at how we study. This could mean reading a book or listening to a podcast, doing a formal Bible study, or simply watching various videos online. 23% reported they spent 5 hours or more learning about their faith in the past month. 36% reported no time learning. And just as we are continuous learning about our spouses or for school and work, I encourage you to consider how you might devote some time learning about how God has revealed himself through the scriptures and our church. Generosity, volunteering. Last year, you considered how much you financially give and if you might be able to increase your giving. You lovingly responded to that request, and we have increased our offering. Thank you so much for that. I want to take this moment to focus on our generosity of time and service. 30% reported volunteering at least 4 hours for the parish in the past month. 8% of people volunteered 20 or more hours in the past month. 60% of respondents have not volunteered for their parish at all in the past month. A follow-up question asks, now thinking about the coming year, which best describes how much you plan to volunteer for your parish? Over half of respondents, which is 56%, indicated they plan to increase the number of volunteer hours for parish in the coming year. This was the area that the survey revealed we had the most area for potential growth. And I am so happy that many of you said that you plan to increase your volunteer hours. I pray that you honor that and find ways to serve the parish in this coming year. Evangelization. Number of times sharing the faith. 60% reported sharing the faith 4 or more times in the past month. 14% had not shared the faith at all in the past month. This is wonderful to see, and I pray you continue to share your faith. I encourage you to find ways to share the faith with friends, family, co-workers, and even strangers. This can happen through simple invitation to some event or function here at the parish, or asking if someone has read a particular Catholic book or listened to a Catholic podcast. Someone once said, you can only grow what you measure. With this in mind, the results of this survey show the level of engagement in our parish and offered to us a baseline for progress for the next 4 years. In the coming months, we'll once again conduct a survey along with offering more resources and opportunities to develop the 4 signs of prayer, study, generosity, and evangelization. Specifically, we look forward to a presentation this coming November called Manic Mysticism, Finding Christ in the Midst of Everyday Life. And later in December, we will host dynamic Catholic speaker Jonathan Fanning for a talk called, Who Are You Becoming? We ask that you find ways to attend and personally invite others to these opportunities. In these small ways, you will embrace the God who seeks your healing and restoration. God really does love you and wants you to be whole.